I have lots of questions, but I'm a very detail-oriented person.
Good. I like it. Hit me with
I'm an
all your
engineer by
questions.
trade, and we either cover the details or the details bury us.
That's exactly right. So dive in.
So, number one, how much time do you have to talk to us?
Right now, today?
Right now.
Right. I have my Q&A at 6 o'clock. So I have 55 minutes.
Okay. See? Boom. Told you. All right.
I said she's busy. We can't take up all of her time.
Now,
No,
get right
you
down
have
to
as
it
long
with
as
me.
you
How
need.
much time do you really want to spend with us right now? I
You're
mean,
totally
you
fine as long as you're done when my Q&A starts. And I'll do it right here on Zoom. I mean, I'll be right here the exact same spot. So
okay.
All the way up to 5:59, you're good.
I have several questions. Some of these may be redundant. I've read a lot of information.
Awesome. I love that.
Just so
Y'all are
you
my
know,
favorite kind of people.
I've watched 2 or 3 of your videos with her. This is her thing. All right. I'm an engineer and I work from home, blah, 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 blah. But this is her thing. But I'm kind of her support guy.
Got it. Love it.
Have the education for that, blah, 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 blah. So the questions I have, number one, in your mind, and I know you said she is, but I want some feedback. What is the ideal fit of a person that's going to do well in this industry? In other words, what kind of personality do they have? Are they an introvert or an extrovert? What kind of a dedication, time commitment do they have, like starting out and ongoing? What is the fit of a person that, in your experience, is going to do really well in this industry? What are those characteristics?
So in general, I would say it's more suited for an introvert because you're sitting on a computer by yourself a whole lot of the time. So, I mean, if you're the kind of person who needs to be around people all the time, this is probably would be a frustrating fit for you. On the other hand, if you're like me, I remember when COVID hit and I was thinking, everybody's in quarantine. I was like, my life is quarantine. This really does not change anything for me.
Yeah.
So that's one thing. Introvert, I would say it leans more heavily to being more suited to an introvert. As far as skills go, having strong research skills, and Pam said she likes to do research. So you've got to be very, very curious, very detail oriented, very curious, and ask questions a lot. Well, what did they mean when they said that? Or they say the name of that company, and am I sure I'm looking at the right company? How do I spell that? How do I know if there are 2 companies with the same name, how do I know which one is the right one? So those are the kinds of things that I teach. But if you don't even have an instinct to ask that question, this is going to be difficult for you. So you have to be very curious. You have to be good at research. In general, you need to have good communication skills. So if you're the kind of person who sends emails and you don't capitalize anything and you don't use any punctuation, I'm probably not going to want to work with you because you're not serious about being a clear communicator. That is not how Pam filled out her application. I mean, she used complete sentences and all, so I felt good about her from the very start.
Yeah.
Yeah, we don't have a problem in that area.
Yeah, that drives me crazy when I get emails and I'm like, what in the world?
Right. Yeah. I would have discouraged you from enrolling if you had done that. In fact, I probably would have just canceled your call and said, I'm sorry, but you're not a good fit, but thank you for applying. Yeah. I do that with people. I don't just let anybody in.
Yeah.
What else?
Dedication, time commitment. And I realize that is a very broad question and you can make minimum, maximum, blah, 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 blah. But as you get going in the beginning, in your experience, how many hours, what's it going to take her to be successful, get through your course, and set herself up to do a good job? Is it like a 3-hour a day thing? Is it, all right, you work all day and you'll be done? And, give me some feedback on that.
Okay, so what I told Pam is that when you get a client, for every 60 minutes of audio they send you, you're going to spend about 5 hours per week working for that client.
Which I wrote down and I calculated.
Wow, look at that.
How many estimated dollars you can make in income. I realize that's not all profit because there's expenses that are going to go out.
That's right.
Software and fees and all that jazz. And so in your experience, when somebody first starts out, how long does it take them to develop, say, 20 hours a week worth of actual work time? I'm not talking about, because you said 5 hours per Audio
Client.
minute, I get that. So that would be 4
For
or
audio.
audio hours.
Yeah.
So it would be 4 audio hours would give her about 20 hours of work per week is what I'm gathering.
That's about right. That's right.
So when somebody first starts out, can they get 20 hours a week? How long does it take them in your experience to build from just say 5 hours a week up to let's say 30-ish? I mean, where do we fall when we first start and how long does it take to build that up?
There are so many factors that it's difficult for me to answer that. I've been in this business for 15 years. And if you told me that I had to get 4 audio hours of work, I had to go find that and get new clients and everything, I couldn't tell you how long that's going to take me. There are just too many factors. How many emails am I sending? Am I sending them to good people? Am I hitting people at the right time? And there are a lot of factors. In general, though, I will say that if she's serious about this and if she contacts 20 to 25 businesses per day, which should be easy, you can literally do that in 1 hour. If you do it the way I teach you, you can do it very quickly. Most people just drag their feet. If you are a go-getter, you can contact a whole lot of people per day. I had a guy recently. He was piddling around and not doing the work. And he was like, I can't get any clients. And I was like, okay, let's get on a call and let's look at this closely. He was not following my instructions. He was sending an email that had multiple mistakes in it, typos in it, including the spelling of his own business's name. And he was only sending a few emails here and there. And I said, you know what? I told Pam this. Yeah. If you have to spend 5 hours with a client, if you don't have 5 hours to send emails, how are you going to have 5 hours to serve a client if you actually get one? Right. So if she wants to work 20 hours a week with clients, she needs to be working 20 hours a week building the business before she ever has a client. Okay, if you do that, when he did that, when he started and when he said, okay, I get it, I need to treat the emailing like a full-time job. He did that. He got 2 clients within a week and a half, and he got another client in less than 2 months. I cannot promise the same thing will happen to you. You could get one client who sends you 4 years worth of an archive, and you don't have to look for a client for a long time. On the other hand, you could get somebody who has 20-minute files, and you've got to find somebody else to supplement that because that's just not enough.
Okay.
Does that make sense? I mean,
go ahead. Sorry.
I just asked if that made sense.
It makes very good sense. I didn't expect you to give me a finite answer, but I do realize that there is going to be time to do the stuff like you're talking about that you don't get paid for.
That's right.
You don't get paid to send emails. You don't get paid to build things. You only get paid
right.
once you get work, but you have to account for that time as you're building. And so I'm trying to get a feel for when we start, we're going to spend 30 hours a week trying to build a business and 10 hours a week making money. Or, and I know you can't give me a finite answer. I just want to see what you had to say.
Okay, well, that's my answer is if you put it, I strongly believe it's a numbers game. So I always describe this as it's like you go into the grocery store. There are all kinds of things on the shelves that you don't buy. You walk past all kinds of stuff. And if the people who say it's mayonnaise, all kinds of people don't buy the mayonnaise, you think, oh my goodness, we just shouldn't even have mayonnaise in the store. That's ridiculous thinking. Enough people buy the mayonnaise that it's worth it, even though a bunch of people are walking by not even thinking about it or buying it. It's the same thing with sending emails. You're going to email people who don't need it, who don't want it, who already have it. And you have to let that not discourage you. You just got to land on the people who are like, oh, mayonnaise, you get my point.
In business, we call that you got to find your target market.
You got to find, and which is where I will help her. I will help her find the target market, tell her exactly what to say to them. And then it's literally a matter of copy, paste, send. And I was telling her, you can even get your family involved. My daughters help me copy, paste, send. I give them the email. I give them the email addresses. They just copy, paste, send while I look for more email addresses. So, it can be a family thing, not just one person trying to do it all.
Yeah.
Yeah, you and our poor, starving college students.
You know what? When I started my business, I was a single mom of 4 young children. And if I'm telling you, if I could do it, literally anyone can. And I didn't have anybody helping me. She's got a huge advantage.
Yeah, I heard your story. Kudos to you.
Thank you.
Anyway, second question. The software that she's actually going to work on, when she's done transcription in the past, it's all been MS Word based. Is it MS Word based? or is there a
Um,
special software?
Well, I'm going to send her the foot pedal and the digital playback software that's going to play the audio files. That's part of what you get when you enroll. As far as what you're going to actually transcribe in, you can use Microsoft Word, you can use Google Docs, and Google Docs is free. I recommend Microsoft Word, but you don't have to use that, or you could use OpenOffice. I mean, there are multiple word processors that are free, but Microsoft Word is so cheap. I would use that if you have it.
Well, and that's what I've always used. So that's, that's what I would stick with because that's what I know. So
yeah, that's my comfort zone too. So if you use the same software I use, it's a lot easier for me to help you.
yeah.
Okay. Well, I want to get into that because that's a yearly fee, blah, blah, blah. And it's not that bad, I know, but and then the other thing is we have personal copies of that, but do you need a dedicated business copy or does it matter?
It doesn't matter at all. And whatever you spend, you can claim it as an expense on your taxes. I mean, you're going to be self-employed. So even the cost of my program, you're going to claim that on your taxes as an expense.
It's a deduction, right?
Yeah, it's a deduction. That's right.
Yeah. Okay. What else do I have? A lot of my questions are business related.
That's fine.
EIN number. We got to do
I
that.
use my social security number. That's fine.
We do that on our own. Business license, I looked it up, $15 in Tennessee roughly to get started. You got a business bank account, website. What does it cost? What do you recommend as far as a website goes? How does that work?
Starting out, I don't even think you need a website. There's a site called about.me, and it's literally just a picture of you, a couple of paragraphs, links to your social media, like your LinkedIn page or whatever, and a call to action button. So you can say, fill out my order form or get your transcripts. Again, this is the kind of stuff I will help with inside the program. Once you get going, you may want to create a website, and you can do that free right off the bat. There's a site called Wix, W-I-X. You can create a website for free. And if you have skills in that area, you can do it pretty quickly, pretty easily. But you don't have to have that in order to get started because you're going to offer free trials and your work is going to speak for itself. The website is nice. I do think you need some kind of online presence just so people know you're not a robot or, somebody in a foreign country. You actually speak English, all that good stuff. But you don't need a full-fledged website starting out.
Okay.
But if you want one, you can do it for free on Wix.
All right. So, okay. Bookkeeping, you're using QuickBooks.
I use Harvest. I don't use QuickBooks. I used to, for invoicing, I use Harvest.
Harvest.
I use Harvest. I went from Harvest to QuickBooks and I went back to Harvest. I use it for invoicing. You can accept credit cards, direct deposit, or PayPal, and it's all very easy to use. And I think Harvest is only like $15 a month. And if you pay it by the year, it's even cheaper than that. But you don't have to use Harvest. It's just what I use. It's the easiest. If you already have QuickBooks, you're welcome to use whatever you're comfortable with.
Yeah, which we don't, and I don't know how to use that. I mean, that's another learning curve that we talked about. That's part of the business
exactly.
thing that I've never used. So
again, when it comes to that kind of stuff, I'm not good at it either. But once you get it set up, it's so easy that you don't have to think about it anymore. It's all very automated. So I can walk you through all of that. And you don't need to get Harvest right now. You wait until after you're trained and you get to phase 2.
Okay.
So then credit card, PayPal acceptance is all part of Harvest. You don't have to have a special service or a special site to do any of that.
Well, you have to have a PayPal account, obviously. You'd have to have a PayPal business account. In order to accept credit cards and direct deposit, I use Stripe. I don't think there's any cost with Stripe except for they take a chunk of whatever you receive. They take a piece of it, and then at the end, again, that's like their fee, and you can claim that on your taxes, so you'll get it back anyway. So I never worry about those kinds of fees.
Okay. And in one of your videos, you mentioned spreadsheet stuff. I mean, that's what was the deal behind that? We were watching you were talking about doing a spreadsheet just to do conversions of time, or is there something else you would need spreadsheet skill wise, or?
Oh, you don't even need spreadsheets. I mean, I will give her an invoice template if she decides to work for a company instead of for herself. That it's a spreadsheet. I also have a calculator. So do you have Microsoft Excel on your computer?
Yes.
Nothing
yeah.
I have, you can use it with that. And again, I'm not an Excel person, so whatever you need it for will be very, very simple. I don't actually use it for business stuff. Time conversion, I have a little chart that you will get inside the course. This one's mine. It's laminated and so old, but it just shows you how to convert seconds to minutes. So if somebody sends you a file that's 3 minutes and 46 seconds long, you'll put 3.77 because you're converting. Yeah, that's all that is. Super easy to use.
Okay. Well,
All right.
I was wondering about the spreadsheet. We don't call him Mr. Spreadsheet for nothing, but that's his business. That's what he
Oh,
does.
yeah, absolutely.
You know? And then we sit down to do stuff, and he's like, "Let me do a spreadsheet," and I'm like, "Oh Lord," because I don't understand spreadsheets.
Yeah,
I didn't
me
know how to set
either.
them up. So yeah, so that makes me feel better.
Yeah, you don't have to worry about that. And anytime I do need a spreadsheet, my daughter, she's the math major in the family. She knows how to do that kind of stuff, but you don't have to worry about that.
Okay. Well, I know she's not good at that, and I was trying to figure out what it would require. I'm that
Right.
guy, but we're talking about me. That's not
No.
what this is. So be quiet. All right. So laptop requirements. How much RAM, how much memory? I know you said you like the lighted keyboard. What kind of ports do you need? Do you need an HDMI port, just a USB port? What do you need? I mean,
No,
we have
you need a USB port because the foot pedal I'm going to send you is a USB plug. Other than that, just a basic laptop. I mean, you don't need any fancy schmancy laptop. Down the road, when you start making money, you're probably going to want one that has more space on it to store audio files. But even then, you can get an external an external drive for storage if you need that, or use Google Drive or something like that. So a basic laptop is all you need to get started. I mean, these days, even the cheapest laptops are pretty nice. You know, they're not shabby. So as long as you don't have one that still has, Windows Vista on it, you should be fine.
Yeah. No, but I'm still hanging on to Windows 10.
Yeah, I upgraded to Windows 11 and it really didn't make hardly any change at all. So don't be scared of it.
Every time I turn my computer on, it says, "Do you want to upgrade to Windows 11?" I'm always hitting the no button because I don't want to.
Yeah, I know. I did it. It didn't. I'm always scared to do that too, but it really wasn't that big of a deal. Not like 7 or 8 to 10. That was a big change.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. Yeah, we still got a little time.
Yep, you got plenty of time. Take your time.
How much time do you think it's going to take her to complete this course?
I mean, again, that's going to depend on it's going to depend on two things. One, how much time she puts into it. And two, how strong her skills are already. My instincts tell me that she's going to have strong skills going in because of how she did on her application. But I won't really have a feel for that until she transcribes something and I get to look at it and see how she did.
Right.
But if she puts in 1 to 3 hours per day, that's minimum 1 to 3 hours per day, she should be able to go from enrollment to looking for clients within 2 to 3 months.
2 to 3 months.
Yeah.
Some people do finish the training within like 1 month, get their business set up within a week or two, and then start looking for clients right away. So 3 months is on the outside. My instincts tell me that probably for you about 6 weeks before you start looking for clients. But
Yeah.
I can't promise that because I don't know you well enough to know if I'm right or not.
That's fair.
Yeah. Well, and that's one thing that, because I did tell him that, we had talked earlier and that, what I said to you is true. I mean, I am not working right now, so I'm all in,
Yeah, you should treat it like your full-time job. Seriously, treat it like a full-time job. This is your job.
I can be sitting downstairs doing my thing, and she can be sitting up here doing her thing.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, he has his office downstairs in what we call the cave. So he goes downstairs and he goes down in the morning and I see him at lunchtime and then a few times throughout the day. And other than that, I don't see him much. And then I'm upstairs. So.
All right. Estimated, because I watched your videos and, you talk in a range of dollars per audio minute, and I've heard everywhere from $1 all the way up to, I think somebody said a max you get like $5 an audio minute. What's an average? 2, 3? Where do we kind
It
of
depends on how brave you are. So let me tell you a quick story. When I first started my business, I looked around, and most of the companies I looked at were charging $1.50 per audio minute, just regular general transcription companies. And I thought, you know what? I'm going to be smart. I'm going to charge $1.25 an audio minute, and I'll get all the business. Well, I did get some business, but the problem was that I wasn't making enough money. I was very unhappy. As my business grew, I couldn't afford to pay anybody anything because I was already at the bottom of the barrel pay rate. And I couldn't offer any discounts. So if it was a special holiday and I wanted to offer a discount, there was no wiggle room. One day I came across this article that said, what would you do if today you were forced to double your prices? How would you justify doubling your prices? And I thought, well, that's an interesting experiment. I'm going to do some research again. So I went back and looked at those websites that were charging $1.50 an audio minute. And I saw $1.50 an audio minute, but 50 cents extra per audio minute if we correct grammar, 50 cents per minute if we recast sentences, another 50 cents per audio minute if we do timestamps. They were charging all this extra stuff for stuff that I was already doing for $1.25. And I'm telling you, because I worked for churches, I was doing even more, like bolding and italicizing Bible verses and using color and all this stuff. I did not double my prices. I tripled them overnight. I went from $1.25 an audio minute to over $3 an audio minute. I think it was like $3.39 an audio minute, something like that. And it totally transformed my business. At that point, I could hire people to work for me. I could give discounts, and one client was worth 3 of what I had before. So even though it was harder to get a client who paid more, they were totally worth the work that it took to get them. So if you want to get cheap clients and do cheap work, you can do that, but you're going to have to work 15 hours to make the same amount of money you could make working 5 hours for somebody who's willing to pay you for the higher quality work.
Right.
That's kind of what I'm after. So what's the sweet spot?
Well, for me, let's see, I changed my prices way back. I think it was 2010 when I wised up and tripled my prices. And to this day, my price is $3.99 per audio minute. And I think that is like the max that I can, without doing, I charge extra for quick turnaround time or heavy accents or something like that. But for me, the sweet spot is between $3 and $4 an audio minute for regular work.
Yeah, but you're
That's
good.
my sweet spot.
But you're good.
I am good, and she will be too, because I'm going to teach her everything I know.
Okay. Oh, this lady.
Yeah, most of my students start at between $3 and $4 an audio minute, and they're scared to do that. They're like, and nobody will pay me that. And I'm like, there are people who shop for $10,000 used cars. And there are people who shop for $80,000 Mercedes because they want leather seats and they want, this, that, and the other. You're shopping for the Mercedes of the transcription world. Most people don't want a Mercedes. They are harder to find, but they are worth so much more than the people who get the cheap car and then complain about it all the time and won't pay. So it's a mindset thing. You are targeting higher caliber clients.
Target market. Yeah.
All right.
Okay, I got a rough idea then. I got my answer to my question.
Okay. I think that was kind of a long roundabout way to answer it, but.
Well, I ask a lot of somewhat vague questions because this is kind of like an interview. Wait a minute, it is an interview, isn't it?
No, I love this. Can I clip this and share it online so other people can? I mean, this is awesome. I love this.
Okay.
Bless your heart. When I told her you were in a meeting and you couldn't meet, we said we were going to meet at 4. I thought, oh Lord, she doesn't know what she's getting herself into.
No, I love this. I don't think I've ever had a husband get on. I think maybe once, but I don't think he asked anything. I think he just sat there and listened. So this is a real treat for me. I love it.
Well, no, but I mean, she's got to do it.
That's
I
right.
got to be her cheerleader, So I'm trying to figure out whether I need to get a short skirt or whether I need to get a pair of tights or what I need to really help her out. And so that's where we're at.
I tell you what, I'll give you one piece of advice. When she's got her headphones in, leave her alone.
Yeah.
Because everybody treats, they'll treat you like you're not really working because you're at home. And I had to make a rule in my family when my kids were little. If I've got my headphones in, you don't talk to me. Unless, are you bleeding? Do we need to go to the hospital? Is the house burning down? Don't talk to me when I got my headphones in. Treat it like it's a real business. Treat it like it's a real job. If you interrupt her 10 million times a day to fix, make you lunch and do the laundry, it's going to be very difficult.
I mean, I'm the same way. I get my head into a design problem and I'm knee deep in a calculation and I've got stress in my mind and I got this and I'm trying to calculate how this is going to go together and what's the fatigue, blah, 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 stuff you don't care about. And somebody comes down and goes, hey, can you do it? And I'm just like,
do you know where the remote is?
Yeah, it's going to be upside your head if you don't leave me alone.
Yeah, there you go.
All right, anyway, so I keep going. In your experience, expected job turnaround times, what do most people expect?
If she does podcasts or sermons or interviews or works for authors, that kind of thing, I would say on average, anywhere from 4 to 7 days is acceptable for turnaround on, 30 to 60 audio minutes.
From, what'd you say, 30 to 60 audio minutes?
Yeah. But most people are flexible. Like I told her earlier, you're not working for lawyers or doctors who need it like right now. They need it as quickly as possible. These are people who, they, especially with me with churches. I mean, they preach on Sunday. I get the sermon on Monday. I send them the transcript before the end of the week, usually maybe Monday, the following Monday, and they're totally happy. It's just like, you don't even have to talk to your clients. You're going to have a Dropbox folder. They put the audio file in a folder for you. You take it out, you transcribe it, you put the transcript in the folder. You're not even talking to them. I mean, there's very little interaction going on.
Okay.
Yeah.
You're a background person.
Trying to get a rough idea so she knows, what we're talking about. So, okay, that's good. You already answered that question. You already answered that question.
And this is your business. You can set any parameters you want. You can say, well, at my business, turnaround is 5 to 7 business days. Or you can say, at my business, turnaround time is 2 to 3 days. It's totally up to you. You make the rules. Do what you want to do.
I understand marketing too. And if you say in my business, I do this in 2 weeks, they say, yeah, whatever. I got somebody that can do it in a week and I don't want to work with you. So what's reality is what I'm after.
I would say for what she's going to do, she can set her own parameters. I don't think most people are going to say, well, I've got somebody who can do it in a week. If they already have somebody, they're not going to talk to her anyway.
Okay.
Most of the time, you're not going to be taking somebody away from somebody else's transcriptionist. Most of them haven't ever even thought about the benefit of transcripts, and you're going to be opening their eyes to something new.
Right.
Okay, honey.
Anything else?
No, I went through from what little information I know, as you get into this thing, I'm probably going to have a ton of questions. I'll be the only husband that sits in on coaching calls. Hey,
I will. You know what? You can come to the Q&As. You can get on the coaching calls. You can email me, text me. You can call me, but I probably won't answer. My phone's on silent most of the time. But I am very easy to reach, and I usually respond quickly.
Okay. So right now, then, it sounds to me like the majority of your time is spent doing the coaching. You don't really do a lot of transcribing anymore, right?
Oh, I haven't transcribed in years. I might transcribe once or twice a year. I have transcriptionists who work for me and a proofreader who works for me. I run the business, but I don't do the transcribing and proofreading. I haven't done that in a long time.
Yeah, I didn't see how you would have time with all this stuff you're doing.
Yeah, no. And I don't want to give you the impression I work with a bunch of students at a time. I work with maybe 3 or 4 at a time. That's all. So I can really pour myself into each person. If I get overloaded, I can't give my best. So
no.
Okay.
No, honey, I'm out. That's all I got right now.
Sure.
I said right now. Now, right now might change in a minute. If she says something that sparks an idea, I'll be like,
Yeah, we didn't talk about that.
Wait, no, speaking of sparking ideas, I mean, since I talked to you earlier, I really had a lot, going through my mind in terms of, prospective clients, things that I'm interested in and stuff, because I've worked with special needs children. I mean, I have a child development degree, but I've worked with kids with special needs for, years and years.
Nice.
So, I don't know what kind of niche is there for that kind of thing, but I don't know. I guess we'll see.
I mean, there are podcasts where people talk about that kind of thing. There are probably YouTube channels, definitely authors who are writing about that. So
Yeah.
I don't know how broad that field is, but you can definitely look into it.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, it's like I was telling you this morning. I mean, I have a lot of, ideas going through my head. So a lot of possibilities.
You will have even more when you start doing the practice files and you're listening to them, it'll spark even more ideas.
Yeah.
Here's a hard question for you.
Okay.
How many people get into this course, spend their money, start doing the day-to-day, and then decide, you know what, this is not really what I thought it was? How many of those do you have?
I don't think most people get in and say it's not what they thought it was. I think most people are lazy. It's just like joining Weight Watchers and you have to actually do the work, or joining a gym, and people get all excited and then the excitement wears off and then they don't want to do the work. I think most people are lazy. I'm just being honest with you. I think most people are lazy and they're not willing to do the work. The people who do the work are very grateful for me and succeed.
Okay. So back to my question then, of all the people that you teach, how many of them actually finish and succeed? Would it be 50% of them? Would it be all of them?
Honestly, I don't. Well, how do I answer that? A lot of people, I used to just have a course and not a coaching program. And a lot of people got my course and then would just go get a job. And I never even talked to them or anything. So there are people who have succeeded and I don't know it. There are people who have quit and I don't know it. I'm being just as transparent as I can be. I don't know. I can give you the names of people who have succeeded and you can contact them. You can see me interview them on my Facebook page and you can reach out to them. But I don't have a percentage. I would imagine most people do not, because again, it's because they're not willing to do the work. It has nothing to do with me or my program.
Okay.
And I did tell you there's a 4-month money back guarantee, right?
Yes, you did.
Yeah. So if you get in there and you're like, this isn't what I thought it would be. Well, I mean, if you call me out for lying to you, I can't even imagine that. If you prove that I'm lying to you, I'm going to give you your money back without you having to do it for 4 months, because that was just from a place of integrity. If I've lied to you, I'm either going to give you your money back or try to figure out why you think I'm lying to you. That has never happened. Never has that happened since I started this in 2018. So the odds of that happening are 0. But if you get in there and you find out you don't enjoy it or whatever, do the work. And then you can move on with your life. And, if you do all the work and you want your money back, I'll give it to you. I won't like it. I'll be unhappy, but that's the way the ball bounces.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think that's fair. 4 months is a lifetime. That's a long time for a money back guarantee. Most courses will offer you 7 days to decide whether you want your money back or not. 4 months. If you can't get it all done in 4 months, you're not serious about this.
Right.
No, I don't question that. And I'll give you a little feedback from the videos that I watched of you and your interactions with all the people that you're working with. You come across as someone that is genuine. Otherwise, I would have said, sorry, this is another scam.
Right.
And my gut talks to me, and so far, most of the time, my gut's pretty good. And so sometimes I miss, but anyway, so I don't anticipate that. I'm just trying to get a better feel in case my gut did miss a little bit. And so
I understand. Yeah. So if your gut is saying give it a try, my money back guarantee is saying you have nothing to lose except some work. I mean, you will have to do the work if you get in there. but it's not like I'm saying there's no money back guarantee and, you know, you're just crossing your fingers and hoping everything works out all right.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, it's like I told you earlier, you know, I discovered you actually a few months ago. And, you know, I've looked at a lot of different things because I'm trying to get out of, you know, even though, like I told you this morning, I mean, I love, you know, being at the preschool and doing that stuff, but that is not long term. I want something long term so that he and I, you know, can travel some and do some things, and I can make a whole lot more money than, you know, than what I was making. And, you know, I'm not getting any younger. So, you know, this is something that, you know, like I said, I've looked at other different things, and then, you know, you click on something and then you look at it and then you go back and then you try to figure out, okay, is this a scam? Is it real? You know, what's going on? And then you find out after you see reviews and stuff that people are going, oh no, walk away, you know, don't do that. And with yours, I mean, everything is so positive, and I'm so impressed. And he was too. Last night we were talking about it, you know, with everything you put together and everything you put into it and everything you do, you know, for people. It's amazing. So
I appreciate that. If you fail, it'll be because you quit. I will tell you that right now. It'll be because you say, I sent 90 emails and nobody responded, and 3 people said no thanks, and 1 person was mean, and this doesn't work. If you've got that kind of attitude, I'm begging you right now, please do not enroll in my program. You have to be tenacious. You have to be able to handle people saying no and ignoring you. If you cannot handle that, then please don't enroll, because that's part of the package. But I can tell you, I have clients that I've had since 2009 and for years and years, that if I'd have had to send 2,000 emails to get this one client, totally worth it.
Yeah.
Totally. I would do it again in a heartbeat. So yeah. It does take time, but you have to have an entrepreneurial mindset, or you're gonna be very frustrated. So
yeah. Well, I was telling him a little bit about that since we talked this morning too. So, you know, so what do you think?
I'm done with my question.
You sure?
Yep.
Okay. All right. Well, I guess I'm in. So what do I need to do?